Welcome to Mr. Positive Live, your home for positive talk. Today on Positive Talk Daily, we're doing another tech product review. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Mr. Positive Live. Click on the bell icon and get notified when we go live and post new videos. These iPhone videos are doing really, really well. Now if you have either one of these phones, the question is, should you upgrade from, say, the iPhone SE 3rd generation, iPhone SE, second generation from 2020, or the original iPhone SE from 2016. Now that really depends on what you're doing with your phone. Okay, this is the latest phone to replace the SE 3rd generation. This is the iPhone SE 4, as I would call it, but they call it the 16e. Okay, now the iPhone 16e retails for roughly around $600. Okay, you are getting a more modern design from this typical iPhone SE 3rd generation. You're getting the iPhone 8 design. This is giving you the iPhone 14 body or iPhone 13. You're going from an IPS panel to a AMOLED panel. You're going from 4.7 inches to a 6.1 inches. So what you get here is an A15 Bionic chip here in the iPhone SE 3rd generation. On here, you get the latest iPhone. You get A18 chip. You get the A18 chipset with one less core than the standard iPhone 16. Okay, and you get two less cores than you do with the 16 Pro and Pro Max. So my point is, if you're coming from this phone here, I've never really done a full video review of the iPhone SE 3rd generation. Now, the good news is this is quite the step up, which people don't realize, but this is quite the step up from the SE 2nd generation. Now, not as far as design quality goes, but what you're getting in the box is quite a bit better than the iPhone SE 1st and 2nd generation. This one gives you the quality of 5G quality. So you can get 5G, which is a step up from the 2nd generation, which is 4G LTE. You're also getting a slightly better camera setup on this phone. You're getting more features thanks to the A15 Bionic chip. So you're getting the same chipset found in the iPhone 13 and 14. So you're getting the same chipset from the 13 and 14 in this phone. So you're getting the performance of an iPhone 13 and a 14. And you're getting better picture quality thanks to the A15 Bionic chip over this in the A12 chip that was in the SE 2020 edition. Okay. Now, yes, it is still the same recycled body from the iPhone. This is still the same recycled body from the iPhone 8. You're still getting Touch ID, which I think personally I like Touch ID better than Face ID, but everybody's different. Some people like Face ID, some people like Touch ID. A lot of the iPads have Touch ID. I think Apple should bring back Touch ID on their iPhones. Especially the 16e, which I'm shocked didn't have like a fingerprint scanner on the side or something. But here, we'll go over the positives of this phone first, okay? A lot of the people that are buying this phone, and it's still, surprisingly, Apple has discontinued selling this, but you're going to get 4 more years of updates thanks to iOS. So you will get 4 more years of security updates, or 5 years of security updates, and I believe 3 to 4 years of software updates. So you should get iOS 19, 20, and 21, and then you'll get your security updates for maybe another 3 to 4 years. So that's great. This phone came out in 2022. I believe it was March of 2022. I'd have to relook at that, but I think that's about right. March or April of 2022. More of a spring release this phone was. Now, the difference is with this phone is it doesn't get that bright. It's a 600 nits. So it's not the brightest iPhone on the market. Plus my case doesn't really help matters, but you got a 4.7 inch Retina HD Plus display, and the viewing angles are pretty good, but you do have some pretty big bezels on this phone. Let's go to the top 5 positives of this phone first off. People that like smaller phones, this is great. If you like that old iPhone 6 look, the 6 Plus, the 6S, the 6S Plus, the 7 and 7 Plus, 8 and 8 Plus, this is a perfect phone for you. You're getting that same design with Touch ID, which I think personally makes it easier to scroll out of devices. So if I wanted to do this, just watch how easy this is. Just opens like that. Now, Face ID is still great in its own way too. And you know, I'm not putting down Face ID by any means necessary. You know, it's still a solid phone for the money. Now, what you're getting here is 4 gigabytes of RAM, the A15 Bionic chip, the same chipset that's in the iPhone 13 and was brought to the iPhone 14. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative from the iPhone 13, you will get the chipset in this phone. Now, that's great. Number 5, you're getting super good performance even in 2025. Like, this thing is still really good at 3.8 gigahertz. So not many phones at 3.6 and 3.8 gigahertz are doing that much. So you can open an app store just as fast on this phone as you could on the 16E. Honestly, I've been comparing these two phones. I'm going to be releasing a video probably in a few days comparing this phone to the 16E. There was absolutely no difference as far as loading times, okay? You might notice it in gaming and stuff like that, but for opening regular apps, like this phone is actually faster in some applications. This is a quick phone. I mean, I'm even though it's got a 60 hertz panel, so doesn't the 16E has that same panel as well. You do have Touch ID. I like the feel of a physical button there, and that's what's great about this. Okay, it's not really a physical button, but thanks to the vibration motor, it makes it feel like a button. So it's great. Everything loads pretty good on here. I mean, you got everything you need. So number 5, the chipset is awesome. You're still getting top performance, Geekbench numbers in the 2000, which is awesome to see. And you get single core processing of 5000. So this phone is still considered flagship level or mid-range in 2025. Okay. The good news is this is the cheapest iPhone you can get to date. That's supported on iOS 18. It's $150, brand spanking new. You can get it even cheaper on the used market. You may have to get a new battery for the phone, but that's about it. Overall, this one is a 128 gig model. They go up to 256 gigs of storage. There is no, but that's okay, okay? So the good news is, number 4, you can run all the latest apps. Games on here are decent. All games perform well in the App Store. You can play Genshin Impact on full graphics, and you can play pretty much any game. I have the Mario Kart game on here, Mario Kart for handheld or for mobile devices, and yeah, I mean, even in number 4 is you can play the games you want, heavy intensive apps, thanks to that chipset, which was number 5. But number 4, you can play the latest games, and it runs just fine. Facebook loads really good, even though it's a 60 hertz panel. Meet Me works pretty good on here as well. You know, depending on your internet connection, basically. But everything this one's better than any Android phone I've got right now currently. And I have the S24, and I think this phone's actually better than the S24 in some areas. You know, maybe not in the screen, but as far as speed and comparisons, this phone is just as good as any iPhone 16e or 16 model. Okay? You are getting the latest Apple Watch OS software on here, so everything is up to date. You got the latest, we get the latest software running on here. Let me show you that real quick. Let me go to, let me just go here real quick. So you do have 18.4.1 right there. So iOS 18.4.1. So this is running the latest Android software. And so, again, that's number 3. You're getting the latest Android software. Number 4, the games work really good on here. Any heavy intensive apps you throw at this phone, you're going to be fine, okay? Honestly, number 2, the call quality is amazing on this phone, actually. We're on Straight Talk with this device, and I think it runs great. We even got 5G connectivity, and that's number 1, is the 5G connectivity. This is the first iPhone SE model that introduces you to 5G. So if you're looking for a phone, that's why I said if you're coming from this phone and you're looking at, say, This here, the iPhone 16e, the benefits are you're getting 5G. Obviously the processor in here isn't much better than the 16e. You're getting 5 cores, 4 cores on this one here. So, I mean, that doesn't mean anything really, but games work just as good on here as they will on here. Most applications are running just as good on here as they would on here. Okay. Let's get into the 5 negatives of the iPhone the iPhone SE, 3rd generation. Okay, the first number 5 reason you should probably upgrade is the fact that it's got a dated body. Okay, this is a dated phone, but some people like that. It is using the iPhone 8. It's using about a 14-year-old phone case, basically the iPhone 6 original, same screen, same display, same everything. Okay, same camera, pretty much. You're getting that iPhone 8, which is like 14 years old, close to it. And, it's a phone with a dated look, about 13 years old, okay? So Apple obviously discontinued this, but you can still buy this brand new at Walmart, eBay, Target. I've seen it for sale as a budget phone. And it does make a great budget phone for an elderly person, maybe a kid's first smartphone. Maybe if this is your secondary phone as an emergency device, it'd be perfect. Someone in a nursing home, someone on disability. You're getting the latest iOS software, so that's a positive. You're getting 4 gigs of RAM, which is respectful coming from a smaller phone. And there are other phones that I think are a little bit better than this phone, like the iPhone 13 mini, which gives you 2 cameras versus 1. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. And you get a larger display, actually. The display of the iPhone 13 mini is actually the same size as this whole phone. But it's a 5.3-inch phone. 5.3 inch versus the 4.7-inch screen. But it's smaller. The casing's the same size, but you're getting a larger screen. So if you want a more modern, I wouldn't say modern, but if you want a more modern, smaller iPhone, maybe look at the 12 mini and the 13 mini. The 13 mini and this have the same chipset, same performance, same 4 gigs of RAM, same selfie cameras and everything, except you're getting 2 cameras. And it looks more like an iPhone 15, okay? If you want something that looks a little bit more like an iPhone 14-ish, 15-ish, stick with that phone, okay? So what's good about this phone? Okay, what is good about this phone? We've already talked about the top 5. Now, the top, number 5, negative of the phone is its old body, okay? You're getting a recycled iPhone 8, which I have nothing against, but for some people who might be buying this thing's got some huge bezels. It's got the most bezels I've ever seen on a phone. I mean, the bezels are this thick on the bottom and top. Okay, they had to fit, the fingerprint here. But that's why Apple recycled this, because they knew they could save money. By recycling this old iPhone 8, they could just stick the iPhone 13 chip in there, and that's pretty much what you're getting. Okay, but this is an upgrade compared to the first generation iPhone SE and the second generation. Yes, this one and the second generation look similar, and you could be easily fooled, but you are getting faster wireless charging on here. You are getting slightly better camera performance. It is the same camera from the second generation, but because of the A15 Bionic chip, you are getting better performance than you would on the A13 Bionic chip that was found in the 2020 version of the SE. Yes, they're the same cameras. Yes, you're getting the same screen. You're still getting that same 60 hertz panel. But thanks to that A15 Bionic chip and 4 gigs of RAM versus 3, you are getting better performance and a better chipset. Okay? Where the second generation was more like an iPhone 11, this one is more like an iPhone 13 or 14. Okay? It is a lot snappier than the second generation. And I've used the second generation multiple times, and this is a much faster phone. Okay? Yes, it's 60 hertz, but everything loads a little snappier. It's like using a smaller iPhone 13, really it is. It feels like using an iPhone 13 in a slimmed down body, okay? Number 4 reason why you may not like this phone, it's got a 7 megapixel selfie camera. That's it. And it only records in 1080p at 60 frames per second. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but most iPhones record in 4K. Okay, even 4K 30 on the 16e. Okay, so this one here can only do 1080p at 30 frames per second, which is not a big deal. Which is not a big deal. Most people aren't going to give a crap. People buying this phone are going to be elderly people, people that are, I don't want to say nursing home, people on a disability, you know, people that are just, they don't give a crap. They like the small form factor. Maybe a woman will buy this because it's easy to slip into a purse or something like that. This one here gives you the 16E, or the SE4, I like to call it. The 16E is giving you a 12 megapixel selfie camera, which is the same one found on the iPhone 16 standard edition and the 16 Pro. Okay, you're getting this one was the 256 gig model we have here, and we're going to do a comparisons between these two. Okay, and this one can record in 4K 30 on the front-facing camera. This one can only do 1080p, so twice as good. Plus, you're getting a better. So if you're going to upgrade, it'd be worth it on the camera. Okay, and going back to number 5, the screen size. We're going to get to that now. Number 3, the screen. The screen on here is only 4.7 inches. It's not even an OLED display. It's just a basic IPS panel with Apple's Retina HDR, whatever they're going to call their Hyperactive Pro service. It's just an IPS panel, okay, with 600 nits of brightness. It's not the worst screen we've ever seen, but it's not the best either. Again, you have to make the icons kind of larger, the lettering and stuff. This one here, you're getting an OLED display at well over 1080p, 800 nits of brightness, which is still better than this at 600 nits. Okay, it's still plenty bright during the day and stuff, so it'll be fine. But yeah, the screen is much better on here, much brighter, and it looks just a lot better. Even though you're getting a notch at the top, if you're upgrading from this, it would be worth it based on the front-facing camera and the main camera. We'll get into that now. That's number 2. The main camera on the phone is a 12 megapixel iSight camera, which is still pretty good. This can do 4K 60. Okay, that's not bad. You can do 4K 60, and it obviously does a really decent job. You can record 4K video. You can do slow motion. You can do portrait modes. You just can't do portrait modes of other things like dogs and stuff like that. But you do have some camera settings. The camera settings on this phone aren't going to be great, but they'll get the job done. As you can see, you get your portrait mode, you get your video, you get your panel mode. You do have your video mode, your slow motion at, I think it's 60 hertz refresh, and then time lapse. So you are missing some stuff on here. You're not going to get Apple Intelligence on a phone with 4 gigs. If you hold down the button, you will get Siri. What's the forecast for Lewiston, Maine? And you'll still get your forecast. You still have Siri. And you can still use like Chat GPT. It's plenty fast for Chat GPT. You can use Google Gemini on here, which works just fine. The speakers on here are decent as well. So you can pretty much do anything you can on a basic iPhone. Just know there won't be no Apple Intelligence. Now, if you're using this phone and say you have an iPad, a newer generation iPad that has Apple Intelligence, you can edit your videos right on this. No problem. You can drop this. You can use AirDrop, Apple's AirDrop. Throw it right on your tablet, and you can edit all your photos if you don't want to upgrade right off. Okay, so the camera on here is a bit of a downer because you're getting that iPhone 8 camera. It's the same camera on the iPhone 8, but thanks to the A15 Bionic chip, you are getting better photo processing and AI processing. So that will help with basic Instagram photos or Facebook. Overall, it's a decent enough camera if that's all you have, or Zoom calls, but they're all much better phones on the market. So that might be worth an upgrade from this phone, okay? And number 1, the battery life. Now, so far, my unit is not the worst I've seen because it's a brand new unit. We're at 83%. I had it charged this morning at 7 o'clock. So we're at 83%. Okay, so yeah, the battery life is not great. It's like a 1,300 milliamp hour battery or something like that. And that was one of the bummers when I first got this phone 3 years ago, because this phone's been out 3 years. And when I first got one, we had to get a new one because the battery, we got rid of the old one. And again, I noticed that today because I've been using this phone, and I don't have to charge this for almost 2 days. Okay, this one you have to charge probably every 4 to 5 hours. Okay, if you like a factory charge, and you can do MagSafe if you have the case, but this phone does not have MagSafe. And they've stuck to that same recipe with the 16E or SE4 generation. This is the 4th generation one. You are only getting one camera. So they pretty much kept that material with one camera. This has one camera. This has one camera. Apple is telling people this is a fusion camera. No, it's one camera. They said the same thing about this. It's just one camera. Apple's hyping up phones that aren't worth much of anything. Now, the benefits of this phone is the price. $150. If you want to buy it used, which is plenty of them on eBay, you can get a 256 gig model for like 99 bucks. I mean, you can't beat that. You want to get in the ecosystem of, maybe you have an iPad, maybe you have an Apple Watch, and you don't want to overpay for an iPhone. All this stuff is supported. You can sync this with an iPad, no problem. You can sync your watch with it, no problem. And you're getting 3 years of updates, additional updates, plus 4 years of security updates. So iOS is good on this for a while. If you're coming from an iPhone, 2020 SE, 2020 edition, that may be worth the upgrade. But if you still have this phone and you're like, well, Mr. Positive, should I upgrade or should I wait until the 17 model? What I'm going to say is hang on to this one. This phone is giving you absolutely great performance. Now, if you can deal with a slightly downgraded battery, that's okay. You can go right to the Apple store, get a replacement for this for $30. Walk into your local Apple store, and they'll replace the battery for you, no problem. I would say if you're coming from something like this, this is a definitely good upgrade. You're getting a 6.1-inch OLED display. You are getting a better camera, and this phone overall is the better package, obviously. But if you are someone who's seriously about saving money, the SE 3rd generation is still a really good phone. If you really don't want a larger 6.1-inch screen and you just like something that gets the job done, you don't care about 4K cameras, you don't care about, the most money in the world to buy the latest phone, and this phone here is overpriced. Number 5, this phone is overpriced. The 16E is $600 to just get the standard 256 gig model, $700, and it's $800 for the 256 gig, the 512 gig model. So stay away from this phone until the prices come down. There are deals for it on Boost Mobile and other carriers, but until Apple releases the prices, if you're coming from the SE 3rd generation, yes, it's a dated look, but under the hood, you're getting an iPhone 13 or a 14. This has got the processor that's in the iPhone 14. Okay, so it's not a big deal. Now, the iPhone 14 is giving you 6 gigs of RAM versus 4 gigs of RAM. That's where you're going to see the difference in. The cameras are similar on the 14 and 13. The cameras are actually the same on the 13 and the 14. This here is giving you the performance of both the iPhone 13 and the 14 without 6 gigs of RAM. Okay, so when this phone came out, the iPhone 13 was already out. That was the current flagship. So this phone is 2022, spring of 2022. So this phone really is not that bad. Like you're getting performance that is on par with iPhone 14 and even the 15, really. So that was only one step up to the A16 Bionic chip on the iPhone 15. And the iPhone 14, you're stuck with the same, the same A15 chip with just additional RAM. That was it. So you were getting pretty much the same performance. So this is a good phone for $150. If you're on a budget, this is definitely the iPhone to get. It's not overly expensive. When it came out, it wasn't even that expensive. When it came out, it was like $299. For just a basic 64 gig model. Now, Apple doesn't do 64 gigs anymore. The normal is 128. You can get a 128 model for like $99 used. You can find these on the used marketplace. Just in new condition, you can find them refurbished on Amazon, renewed for under $100. So this is a hell of a deal. Stay away from the SE second generation. It's still a decent phone, and performance is a little bit worse than this one. Not by much. You can still do all the same stuff, but this is a much better upgrade. Better chipset, twice the RAM. It's a much better deal. For Mr. Positive Live, I'm Mr. Positive. If you're coming from the SE third generation and you're thinking about saying, you know what, I want to hold off on this until the iPad, the iPhone 17 Air comes out, which will be the predecessor to this one, wait, this is not a bad phone. You've got the 815 Bionic chip, 4 gigs of RAM. You do have a decent camera on here that's still capable. And, you know, outside of that, maybe you like maybe you like having, you know, the touch to be able to unlock your phone instead of, you know, Face ID. You know, for Mr. Positive Live, I'm Mr. Positive.